One tag, 1 week, one shot to make it count. This is for the hunters who hit the road and get after it, no matter the odds. This is Drawn West. Welcome back to another Drawn West podcast brought to you by Go Hunt. I'm your host, Brian Krebs, and today's episode, we're going to be talking with good buddy Carter McKenzie from the Hunt Lift Eat podcast. If you haven't heard, I was a guest on the Hunt Lift Eat podcast a couple weeks ago. Got to talk with Carter and Carrie. It was a great podcast. Go check out that episode. And then I guess this is part 2, Carter. Glad to have you on the Drawn West podcast and just talk Western hunting. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Doing well. Glad to continue the conversation, man, and step out from you made a comment when you came on the HLE podcast about, hey, it's cool being a guest. Like, you don't have to like prep as much. Like, you just get to relax and, you know, be in the passenger seat, and I get to step out from behind the driver's seat for once.
Yeah, it's a lot less work, that's for sure. To be fair, for all the listeners out there that think I'm doing prep work and homework, I prepped my very first podcast episode ever. So $2 podcast episode 1. And it was with one of my good friends. And I prepped, I had a whole list of show notes or questions. And I spent like an hour writing stuff down. Once we started, I never looked at it.
Yeah.
And when we stopped, I looked down at that sheet of paper and said, I'm never doing that again. And since then, I don't know, 350 episodes that we've done across $2, Western Rookie, bonus episodes, and now Drawn West. I haven't prepped a single episode since.
Yeah, man. It's like a lot of things, man. You just need reps.
Yeah, I just look, so like for you, for example, you're here, we're doing this podcast, like,
yeah,
your page was super interesting to me. You got some cool experiences. You know, I wanted to talk like Hunt, Lift, Eat, and we talked that on your podcast, but like, obviously you've been doing antelope hunts, rifle elk hunts, looks like maybe even archery elk. I'm like, this person's cool. Like, I want to talk to this person. And I know along the way we're going to find cool stuff. So I don't really worry too much about it. I just say like, hey, let's have this person on the podcast. I want to meet Carter, see what he's about, talk to him about the way he hunts the West, what got him started. Maybe, you know, and I've never run out of topics to talk about. So I hopefully like the listeners like that. I don't know.
Well, I think based on your recent chart debut, man, I think the listeners do like it, man. You got some good momentum behind you. So we're pulling for you from the Hunt, Lift, Eat side of things too.
Yeah. So the folks that are listening to this could be weeks. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of them in the hopper. But as we're recording this middle of August, so we're right in the peak, we're giving away a bow. We're trying to get featured on Apple. For folks that live under a rock, all of you listening to this podcast helped us launch, and we hit number 2 on Apple charts, is the highest we hit. So 1 behind Meat Eater. Super crazy. I never thought I'd do that. Yeah, I have learned more about operating a podcast in the last 4 weeks than I even thought there was to know about operating a podcast for the first 3 years I was doing it.
Yeah.
So it's been a wicked learning curve. It's been a lot of work. Hopefully people know that. Hopefully people see. So like the one that got me that I'm like, wow, like, is anyone ever going to notice this? So like in all of our branding artworks, we have a background, we have a color palette that I've programmed into Illustrator and all of our Adobe apps. And we have a background, and the background's a topo map. And that topo map is the location where I shot my first elk.
Yeah.
And so if anyone wants to spend a lot of time scouring the internet, you could figure out where I shot my first elk. It's not going to do you any good because it was a once-in-a-lifetime tag that only residents can draw in North Dakota, but it's there. It took me 4 or 5 hours to go on Go Hunt, get the topo lines, take an image, turn it into a vector graphic in Illustrator, and then delete all the stuff and then fix all the lines because the lines, I mean, it took me and I'm like, I just got done and I'm like, this is awesome, but I don't know if anyone's ever going to appreciate this.
Sometimes it's the little things, man, little Easter eggs.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool. I don't know. It means a lot to me, and that's all it counts.
Yeah.
But yeah, just doing everything, like, you know, when I started $2, I didn't know anything. And I was doing it like just throwing stuff out there. And now it's like, hey, I want this to look like someone knows what they're doing, and trying to have everything branded. And have the right type of assets and the right type of posts. And it's been a lot. I'm sure you guys deal with it all the time. I mean, I just got the shirt that you guys sent over.
Nice.
My
Awesome.
wife's like, I want one. I'm like, I'm sure they'll sell you one. I don't
We'll
know.
make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah. She loves it. I accidentally wore it to the gym yesterday, like a ding dong, thinking like, oh, this is sweet. It's a perfect fitting shirt. And then I'm like, oh, I should have saved it for this episode. I could have wore it for our podcast. But yeah, super, super cool shirt. And just like everything like that. Like it probably took you so long to just like figure out like, okay, where are we going to get these shirts made and how many do we make?
Oh my gosh.
Well, and then they send the file back and you're like, your file's corrupted or it's the wrong size. We need it in this format. And yeah, you're just like, okay, well, we spent 2 weeks on these shirts. Hopefully people like them.
Yeah, man. If anybody listening's thinking about entrepreneurship, like more power to you. Good luck.
Yeah.
To like getting punched in the face every day. And 2, if you're thinking about going into the t-shirt business, don't. just don't do it. Go a different route. There's so many other cool things that you can sell. than t-shirt. Apparel is just tough, man. It's tough.
We are going to do apparel, but I'm going to do it a new way when we're ready. And I don't think we're ready yet.
Yeah.
We're going to do cool designs. I don't know if I'm capable of doing all the designs. I could maybe like have the vision, and then I'm going to have to hire a designer or an artist, really. I mean, it's an artist at that point. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, podcast drops, on Tuesday. The store's going to be open for 1 week.
Yeah.
Get your merch. We're closing down the store, and then we're going to build everyone's stuff and send it to you. It's going to be 3 weeks. Don't DM me where your shirt's at.
Right.
And then that's it. And then
we'll
do that like twice a year maybe. Versus like, you get one order, like, I gotta go make a shirt, I gotta go pack. You know what I mean? It's like that's in order to make that work, you just charge them like $35 for a t-shirt, and it's just not worth it. So that's what I think how we're gonna do it. But we're not quite ready yet, and we got to have some good ideas too. Like I just don't want like the podcast. Like I want artwork. I want something that's unique. Yeah. That's like maybe it doesn't even say Drawn West. It says something. It's a cool piece of like logo. It's a cool design that like tells a story about who you are when you wear it.
Yep.
So if you wore it at the airport, most people are like, I don't get it. But then that one guy, he's probably wearing Kennetrek boots in his blue jeans because they're the most comfortable thing to wear on an airplane. Yeah. And he'll be like across the airport, be like,
cool shirt, dude.
Yeah, I get it. Right. Yeah. That's the kind of shirt I want to make.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see when the time comes.
That's exciting.
Yeah. But today I want to talk to you. Like I wanted to hear your story. So from Georgia all the way to the west, I mean, that's a huge distance. Have you always lived in Georgia?
So I was born in Georgia, grew up in Georgia. And I'm late to the game when it comes to hunting. I didn't go hunting for the first time until I was in college. I was a freshman in college. So I was 18 or 19 when a roommate took me hunting in South Carolina. Well, I went to College of Charleston briefly before I super failed out and got hooked on hunting when I was there. But yeah, I always lived in Georgia, except for a brief stint. My dad got moved to Colorado. And so for about 4.5 years, I got to grow up in Colorado, in Evergreen, Colorado. Which anybody who's familiar with Colorado, that is a main corridor for elk when there's actually no hunting in Evergreen too, because it's part of their migration corridor. And so from about 6 to 9 or 10, I got to live in Colorado, and I was around elk. Like we would have herds of 200-300 elk bed down in our backyard. And so I was exposed to that when I was young, but I always knew, as do probably most people or your listeners who are, tuning into this, that Western hunting was going to be a part of my life.
Yeah.
One way or another. I knew it was going to happen, right? As a 6-year-old, I remember, running out with my lasso, trying to like lasso a 300-inch bull. Like, you know what I mean? Just like,
like just pure chance the 6-year-old actually throws the right loop and catches it.
Yeah.
It's like, let go.
I got him right where I want him. Yeah. Yeah. And then we moved back to Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's super ironic that you're from Georgia. I knew that. You're obviously your Instagram handle has that. For a brief moment, I forgot But we just did an episode because we hear it all the time on, oh man, I'd love to hunt elk, but it's just out of the cards for me. Like
Yeah.
it's just not in the card. And I don't want to predict or tell or downplay anyone's position. We all have our battles, right? But for most people, I'm like, do you know what it is to go elk hunting? Like, are you picturing a $10,000 like Jake Clark outfitted trip in the Wind River Range? Because
Yeah.
that's not what it has to be.
Yeah. You don't have to do that.
Right. You could go elk hunt. And so we did this episode, like how to go elk hunting for $1,500.
Yeah.
And I picked, we broke it down. It's like tag is number one cost, gas is the second cost. And then we had a couple other caveats or like, yeah, you might need some gear or lodging. Lodging's the three unavoidable buckets are tag, gas, lodging.
Right.
And so I was like, I don't know where to pick. St. Louis. Let's just use St. Louis. It's the Golden Arches. It's the gateway to the West, or it was in the And I picked 3 different states, to try to get some like gas estimates. And so I like St. Louis to Boise was like the farthest. I picked like Idaho, Colorado, New Mexico. Well, St. Louis to Boise, I was like, I was like halfway through the episode, I'm like, someone's going to chirp at me in the comment section. It's like, well, I'm from Georgia and this doesn't apply. And so I'm like, all right, fine. I better add something from like the Southeast. And so I was just scrolling Google Maps. I picked McCone, Georgia. And
Nice.
it turns out McCone to Colorado, like to Aspen, is like the same distance as St. Louis to Idaho.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, $500. If you're driving by yourself, it's going to be $500 in gas to drive your pickup to Colorado and back to go elk hunting. But a Colorado takes $800. So you're into it for $1,300. If you can sleep in the back seat of your truck because you're going by yourself, like lodging's free.
Yeah.
Or if you're going on an archery hunt, you could get by with a Walmart tent. I mean, you don't have to have the best, teepee style 13-ounce tent to go with.
100%, dude.
And
I've done it with the Walmart.
So Georgia is pretty reasonable. And if you get a buddy, man, 2 people in a pickup, but it's still a journey, and that's Colorado. I mean, imagine Georgia to Idaho would be a haul.
Right.
So what's it like when you load it up to go out on your first trip? Like, I don't want to like give you some like flashback trauma, but like, was there just like a pending anxiety of like, do we have everything we need? Like, what are we forgetting?
Yeah.
Are you sure you put the tire iron in? Like, do we have what was that like the first time you went out west?
Are we talking about logistics first?
But yeah, let's start with logistics first and then like the hunt itself.
Cool. So from a logistics point of view, I mean, you probably remember your first like destination hunt. Like the packing is an anxiety. You're like, I don't know, right? I brought way too much stuff.
Yeah.
And I still do that, right? And now I have a rule like if I didn't touch it, it gets cut, right? It's not going back, other than like a med kit. I hope I never have to touch that, right? But that's always going. But logistically, like to add to your, scenario, your driving scenario, I fly for most of my Western hunts.
Oh,
and if you're smart about it, you can do it cheaper than driving. And I do it for 2 reasons. One, it saves time. It saves a ton of time if you're driving from Georgia out west. And I just look at it as like I have X amount of days off of work. I'm a school teacher, and unfortunately, elk season or mule deer season is not in during summer break, right? And so that if I fly, it buys me a day and a half, almost 2 days extra of hunting time, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm saving time, right? That my time is valuable, right? So like whatever the cost is, that's what matters to me. And if you're smart and you track flights, put in a flight tracker as soon as you decide with your buddy, like, hey, we're doing this fall, right? We put flight trackers in before we even draw sometimes. You don't have to buy, but keeps keep your eye on the ball kind of thing. We're flying to Denver for $275 on a Delta flight for our mule deer hunt this fall. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it makes sense. And that's like with a free checked bag, and you can come out in the green by flying. So we flew for that first one to save time.
So that's a super interesting thing that like probably throws a different wrench into things. So number one, biggest question about flying on a hunt.
Yeah.
What was like going through the first time of flying with a weapon like?
Dude, I got a good story about this. I had so much anxiety about it because I've never done it before, and like that's crazy, right?
Right. You like picturing that you're gonna get cavity searched by TSA?
I just know it's going to be a nightmare. I know it's going to be a nightmare. And when you fly, you can't bring as much stuff, right? That's a huge benefit of driving. You can have a much more comfortable camp and trip as a whole, right? So we had to make some cuts at the beginning. We fly out of Atlanta, right? Busiest airport in the world, huge, right? And we show up at 5 a.m. for our flight. Me and my best friend Spencer Benfield. It's 2018. This is our first Western hunt, and we have like the cheapest, crappiest, because we've been out of college for like 2 minutes and we have zero money. And like the crappiest gun safe of all time. It's just like, I mean, if you tried hard enough, you probably could have like
Oh
ripped
yeah.
it open, even with the locks. And we go up to the Delta counter, and I'm like trying to be like, hey, like we have guns, right? I would like to declare my firearms because I read every forum, I've read all the policies on Delta on the website. I have them printed out, I have them highlighted, like I'm
Yeah.
ready to go. And the lady behind the counter, it's like classic Atlanta. She's like, "Y'all got guns?" Like yells it, screams it across, like everybody can hear. I'm like, "Whoa, like keep it down, like lady, come
Everyone
on."
stops.
Yeah. She's like, "Y'all got guns?" I was like, well, "Yeah." Like, all right, cool. Like, tell me what to do. And it was anybody who's flown with firearms knows it's not a big deal at all. And you pop them open, you fill out the TSA tag, you put it in, and then you take it to oversized baggage. They run it through the scanner, and they say, "See you later." And you hope it makes it on the same plane as you.
Yeah.
And it's so easy, right? Or it was so easy. I was like, I cannot believe this is it. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? And yeah, it was no big deal. That alleviated a lot of anxiety for the future of flying with firearms.
Okay. So yeah, just follow the rules and just declare it. No big deal. So the second thing that I would have, legit. So like my perspective on logistics for these trips is different because as early as I can remember, my family has been going on these adventure style hunting and fishing trips. I remember being pissed off beyond measure because I was 5 years old at the bus stop, like, at the end of our driveway,
Yeah.
watching my dad and my brother load up to go on a pheasant hunt. That they were like, final things are going into the truck and they're leaving. And I'm just steaming that they're not bringing me, right?
Right.
Pissed off. I actually remember the funniest thing I've ever seen to my life at that point. I was that same day, like it was one of those things where you're so mad, but you're so emotional that when
Yeah.
something like funny happens, it's like really funny and you just like lose it. So they're loading it up. The last thing went into the truck, right? My brother is like lifting the tailgate up to shut the truck, and his dog comes flying down the driveway from me to him, thinking like I could just picture this dog like, no, I'll make it.
Yeah.
And she was gonna jump into the box of the truck to like go, right? Well, he
Right.
shut the door and she just went boom, like half a second later. I'm sure she's what latched the tailgate shut.
Right.
Just
Right.
bam, right
Slammed
into
it. Yeah.
oh, I was like, and then I just lost it because I was so emotional. I was 5 years old. Obviously, not a lot of emotional fortitude at that age.
Right. Right.
But yeah, then they left and went on this epic journey. Well, then the next year I got to go, and we've been going to Canada every year. It's like I don't know if I've missed a year of doing either elk hunts or Canada or some type of big adventure hunting or fishing trip since I was 5 years old.
Yeah. That's
Most
awesome.
years it's been multiple. And so it's like no big deal for me. It's like I know exactly.
Right.
I pack for an elk hunt the night before. Like I start
Mm.
finding stuff the night before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that would be anxiety. But I've also never had free space in a pickup on these
Right.
trips. And so
You bring
to go
everything.
flying, when you're like, I
Yeah.
get one checked bag.
Yeah.
Hopefully my pack fits the backpack regulations for like fitting under the seat because that's like my backpack.
Yep.
And that's all the gear I get. That's got to be a little scary, especially for your first elk hunt because you don't know what you need.
No, we didn't know. Luckily, when you and I talked on our podcast, I mentioned my mentor, Jake Hacker, a guy I met on Rockslide Forum. When we drew that antelope tag, I was posting on there. I was like, "Hey, never done this before. I'm just looking to connect with somebody who might know a little bit." And after getting yelled at by a bunch of strangers on the internet for asking for help, he he reached out and was like, "Hey, dude, direct message me. I'd be happy to talk to you." And he was a lifesaver. And so I actually ran him through our packing list, and he was like, "No, you don't need that. You need that. Did you consider this?" Like, no, I wouldn't worry about that, which was super helpful.
Yeah.
And back then, I don't know if they do it anymore, but the hack was if you could fly Southwest airline, they would allow 2 free checked bags, which was sick because that's your firearms and then your duffel with your gear, right? And that was a huge saving. One time we flew United and they charge $120 for your checked bag. They get you at the gate, and so you got to watch out for those hidden costs, man. But yeah, and I'm a pack the night before kind of guy too, but not because I have confidence and experience, but just because like that's how I live my life, and I'm just like a disaster all the time. Whenever I hunt with Luke, the owner of Hunt Lift Eat, he just got out of the military. He's super organized, and everything has a place. He hunts with me, and he's like, "You're a disaster." He calls it Carter's Gypsy Camp because my stuff is just like everywhere. I just leave it everywhere. It's just a disaster. We definitely brought way too much stuff. Brought like fancy water purification systems, and I'm trying to remember what else, but like a ton of stuff we didn't need because like there was a gas station, like we could drive to a gas station to get water, and like you know what I mean. Like we weren't like we passed like civilization on the way to where we were hunting that I didn't think about. And now when we fly in, we'll like stop at the Walmart outside of the airport, grab what we need, and then keep driving once we get the rental car. So
Gotcha.
You can get some stuff on the way once you get your boots on the ground where you're going to be.
Man, if you think you packed too much stuff when you flew on an elk hunt, if
Yeah.
you ever saw the way we go elk hunting, you would be like, holy shit. So
But the benefit is you have a way more comfortable camp. Yeah, and you can because you can bring stuff. Like you could bring anything.
If you need it, we have it.
Yeah, exactly. You could bring a generator. You could bring like
pellet grill?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, we have my brother and my dad have like this 18-foot enclosed trailer with like 9-foot ceilings.
Yeah, that's a house.
So
it's unbelievable.
Well, it is our house most of the time.
Yeah,
but
that's
we'll
awesome.
put a Ranger in there. We bring folding tables, chairs. I mean, like nice camp chairs, 2 wall tents. I mean, there's not a lot of space left in that enclosed trailer, and the bed of my pickup will be absolutely filled. Yeah, we bring a lot of gear, so that's where it's like I would have anxiety flying because I'd have to really I'd have to get tight. I'd have to get really tight on what do I need, what do I don't need, and then so all that to be said, you get there. So you just kind of alluded to it. You rent a car, I assume, or a truck, or like what do you?
Yeah,
we rent goat trails with a Kia Forte or what?
Dude, so I rented a Kia Sorento for that first hunt because I had no money, and that was the cheapest vehicle, dude. We flew to Denver and then had a connection to Gillette, which anybody who's been to the Gillette airport, it's like the size of a Wendy's, and. Dude, I rent this Kia Sorento, and I thought I was like Mr. Smart Saver or whatever. And we walk out, and it's like this Matchbox, tiny little periwinkle colored Kia Sorento. And my buddy Spencer's like, dude, are you serious? Like, come on. Like, we're going to take this. Like, and we did. We took it all. We Baha'd all over BLM with that thing, man. And sure enough, if any moisture shows up in that part of Wyoming, it turns to gumbo, man, and you're stuck. We were stuck for like 2 days. We couldn't get that thing out. It was awesome.
You actually got it stuck and for 2 days until the
dude. Dude. I remember driving, like I was so worried about getting fined or whatever. We drove like out of our way to go to Casper after the hunt and ran it through the DIY car wash like 4 times or something insane to get all of that caked gumbo off of the Kia Sorento.
Yeah, that clay just That's hilarious. So was this an elk hunt, or is it Gillette BLM? Kind of sounds like an antelope hunt.
Yeah, the first Western hunt was an antelope hunt.
Okay. Did you get an antelope?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then what do you do with it?
yeah.
The Kia Sorento, you just put it in the passenger seat and put a seatbelt on it and drive back to the
So,
butcher shop? Like, what do
dude, after this episode, I'll text you. I'll send you the Snapchat I have saved. But I had
somebody's gonna pass this Kia Sorento loaded down with mud, and the hatch on the
yeah,
trunk isn't gonna be closed all the way because there's 4 antelope feet sticking out of it.
it's 100% correct. I did have the wherewithal. I brought a tarp. I brought a small 6x6 tarp for the back of the Kia, and so in the trunk of the Kia, I tagged out the first day. It was unbelievable. I was like, "This is insane. This is crazy." And tagged out. It was amazing. And we can talk about the hunt if you want, but yeah, put the tarp down in the trunk and then tossed that thing in there and took her back to camp. And then next day, Spencer tagged out, and the Kia it smelled like goat for the rest of the trip for sure. Little barnyardy, yeah.
Yeah, because goats don't smell good, folks.
No,
They don't. Like, deer smell like deer.
right?
That's the best way I can describe it. A deer just smells like Bambi. An elk smells like a cattle yard.
Yeah,
And
which
antelope
is
just
fine.
smell bad.
Antelope don't smell good.
They
Yeah,
don't
they
smell
smell
good.
like
I don't know if it's like the heat.
yeah.
It's like a weird, like dry heat, weird smell. Okay, so bomb it. Did you get fined for the rental car when you returned it, like a cleaning fee?
No, we didn't. We
What?
didn't.
Did they just
Yeah,
look at it and be like, "This happens every week"?
yeah. It must have just been another day in Wyoming, man. No big
Gillette,
deal.
the
Yeah,
Gillette rental office.
which is like not a yeah, yeah. They were used to it, I'm sure.
Yeah, dude, we were on an antelope hunt in Gillette. We'll get into your hunt story too. We went to Chipotle for lunch one day, or McDonald's. I can't
Yeah,
remember. I think it was Chipotle or Qdoba.
I'm
No, it was
surprised
Qdoba.
Gillette has a Chipotle. Yeah,
No, I think it was Qdoba. I think it was a Qdoba. We wanted Chipotle. And the guy behind the counter started trying to give us antelope hunting advice. And
really.
it's obvious that this dude does
Yeah,
not hunt. I don't want to be mean and I don't want to
yeah,
judge a book by its cover, but
right.
it's obvious he does not hunt. He also, one of the supporting facts for this was pointing us in a direction like 50 miles the wrong direction. It's like, well, if you hunted, you know, like you get 1 unit. Like,
Right,
and so he's like giving us
right.
like a lot of advice, like, oh, I see antelope here and here, and you know they don't like when you stop your car. You gotta, you gotta get them before you stop, and and then you know how Chipotle or Qdoba has like the line, right? So he'll do like 3 steps, and then he hands it to the
Yeah,
next person, and they do like
yeah,
3. The next person must have been like the shift manager. She's like, dude, shut up. They know how
yeah.
to hunt farther than you. And like literally, like this is all happening in front of us. We're like, thanks for the
Hey,
tip.
thanks,
No, I
thanks,
don't need
dude.
any queso. Sorry.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and
Nice
she was
folks.
literally like,
Nice folks in Wyoming. Nice folks.
she was like, don't you think they know how to hunt better than you? Look at them. Like, we're decked out in Sitka. Like, we
Right.
just got done hunting. And
Yeah.
it's clear he had never hunted before. And she had, like, the observational awareness, be like, dude, I think they know what they're doing. They have blood on their pants.
They're good. Yeah.
It was me and my wife. Oh, it was hilarious.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's Gillette. Like, people just know. It just,
Oh yeah.
that's what Gillette is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you get there. You got your Kia Sorento. I've rented a Kia Sorento. I actually went shed hunting in a Kia Sorento. Believe it or not.
Did.
Yeah, I for a work trip in Iowa, and then I just went shed hunting after work, and I told everyone like miles make piles, and this thing gets a lot of miles per gallon.
Sure does.
I don't even know where to go with this. Sorento. All right, so let's get into the hunt itself. So you don't have any gear. You have a Kia Sorento. You can't sleep in the Kia Sorento very comfortably. Yeah. So, like, what was the camp? How did you figure out, like, where you were going on this trip? It seems like this is like 2 college guys had an idea one night.
That's exactly what it was. It was awesome. I remember watching that episode of Meat Eater,
okay,
the antelope hunt, and being like, I could do that. Like, I want to do that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. And then that's like kind of what sparked it. And so it was just, I got on the Wyoming Game and Fish website back before I had Go Hunt or back before Onyx or like any of that. And just looked up units, and I looked up who which units had 0 applications in them the year before, because they post the results from the year before. And I was like, cool, this unit, nobody applied in it last year. There were, 42 tags that nobody claimed. Spencer, let's apply to this unit. Didn't know anything about how much public
like
land or like whatever,
what
right? But I was
no
like,
one
hey,
wanted
dude.
to hunt it last year. Must be a great spot to hunt. Let's go there this year.
But I knew enough. I knew like, okay, you need to have points and like blah, blah, blah. I don't have any points. I just want to go hunt antelope. And I was like, dude, you can't kill them if you don't have a tag, right? So like, I'm going to get a tag and then I'm going to figure it out. And that's what we did, man.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. Camp was not comfortable. We did not have camp chairs, and that sucks. That sucks, right? We had nowhere to sit down because it would blizzard every afternoon, and the ground was wet and muddy, and like chairs would have been cool.
So were you doing solo tents, like one man tents?
We brought a tent. I brought a 2-man tent, and to show my ignorance, 2-man tent really means 1-man tent.
It depends on the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2-man tent's not very.
It was tight. It was like
just for me.
Yeah, it was a bit of a doghouse kind of experience, and then kept the gear in the Kia Sorento.
So you found a spot like, hey, nice little flat spot here off the side of the road.
Yep.
And that's just where you set stuff up, camp, tent, and then you just like. So you were like near the car at all. You weren't like going in and setting up camp. Okay.
No. We just picked a piece of BLM.
So then you
pulled off the side of the road.
Wyoming BLM, virtually no trees.
0 trees. Did not know about the winds. Had no idea. Would have appreciated a heads up about the winds. Because when we came back to camp, saw our tent flying miles down, just being blown across the Great Plains of Wyoming. And
so as you're rolling up to camp, you're like, where's our tent? And then your buddy's like, is that our tent? And it's like a mile away?
Literally.
And you were able to catch it?
Yeah. In
down
the Kia,
road,
man.
or down the, like...
Oh, down the BLM. Just run it. Got in the truck, or got in the Kia, ripped down the road, and then hopped out, ran out, and got it. It was a disaster.
Good thing it went, like...
straight.
Yeah, and then also like good thing it could have been in Montana by the time you guys got back.
Yeah, man, it took off like a sail. Our remedy to that is interesting. The Hunt Lift Eat crew has come up with a remedy for that. Actually, I don't know if we can take credit for that, but we started renting U-Haul boxes.
Oh yeah, you rented a U-Haul box truck.
Yeah, and so now we'll sleep in the U-Haul.
Yeah.
Which is great for Wyoming. Gets you up off the ground, gets you out of the wind, and it can't blow anywhere. Yep.
So then you're just hunting it out of a U-Haul all week?
Yeah, we just hunt out of the U-Haul. It's awesome. So cheap too.
I wonder if there's any rules. So you can't. I wonder if you could like park a U-Haul on the BLM, crawl on top of it, lay down on top of it, and just like snipe.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because we get the trailers, just the box. So you're not shooting from a vehicle. It's just a trailer, right?
Oh, you're renting like a car and a trailer.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that's not we've been doing that since 2016. So no, you don't get to claim that. You just didn't buy it. You rented it.
It's a good deal. It's a great way to not have your tent blow across the.
Okay. Yeah, a lot more comfortable too. So now you bring a chair. Do you not bring a chair? What's the chair? Because that was like no wind or no woods, so no wind coverage, but also like no stumps to sit on or no logs to sit on.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you found out the hard way. There's a lot of small cactuses in Wyoming.
It sure is. I feel like I was still picking them out of my knees for like a year. Now we got plenty of friends out there on the Hunt Lift Eat team all over the country, really.
Okay.
And all over the West, and people love to come out to camp, and locals are happy to make camp a little more comfortable.
Okay, so now you do like a group camp.
Yeah, we take
a Hunt Lift Eat family camp.
Exactly. Yeah. So the Hunt Lift Eat team, there are hunts going on every year all over the country, and we got about 480 members probably all over the U.S. and Canada, and so people just reach out and we're like, hey, I'm going to be in this area. I drew this tag. Like, if you want to come hang out, and people are like, heck yeah, like that sounds awesome. So folks are meeting up and helping out.
rapidly realizing I didn't know what Hunt Lift Eat was, and I gotta admit that
It's all good.
and
It's all
apologize.
good.
I thought Hunt Lift Eat was like you and Carrie's podcast. And then you're like, yeah, and then the owner of Hunt Lift Eat. I'm like, okay, so at least there's a third person. And they're like, yeah, now we have Hunt Lift Eat people all over the country. I'm like, okay, now it's a community. And now I'm
Yeah.
like, now we got to like give us the overview of Hunt Lift Eat.
Sure. So, the quick story is Luke Cox is the owner.
Okay.
He started Hunt Lift Eat in 2019. He was in the Army at the time. He was a captain in the Army. And he started sewing patches on hats with a sewing machine that he had like in his attic. That was the side hustle. And then it quickly grew into t-shirts and hats, and it was an apparel company for a couple years. I got linked up with him through Instagram. I came across Hunt Lift Eat on Instagram,
Okay.
and he was down at Fort Benning, about 2.5 hours south of me. And I was like, hey, dude, why don't you come up and hunt? I hunt North Georgia. And we invited him up, and he came up, and I sent my wife to a friend's house because I didn't know if I was going to get murdered by some stranger I met on Instagram. And we hit it off, became best friends. And then I started helping out with the company in 2020. And so Luke got deployed at that time. And so I helped run a lot of the operations stateside because we were on two totally different time zones. And so I took over the podcast. And so I host the podcast, and then I am our team lead. I manage our team member program, which we started because people kept reaching out and were like, hey, like, how do I be a part of this? How can I join? And we were like, join what? Like, this is just, what do you mean? And we did not want to have like a brand ambassador pro staff program.
Okay.
Luke, there were basically 10 of us, I think, of Luke's best friends, a lot of them in the military. And he was like, selfishly, I just, I want to have a community of my friends when I get out of the military to
do stuff.
A tribe, a community. It's tough for a lot of these guys when they're transitioning out of the military, finding purpose and people with shared interests, right? And then we had such an outreach on social media from other people, especially veterans and law enforcement, shift workers, like all sorts of people who were just starved for a community, starved for a tribe. And you know what I mean? And which is like kind of the most human and innate thing that we feel, right? And so we were like, okay, like, what does this look like? Like, how do we help? And we created our team member program. And a lot of us have been burned by a couple, pro staff and, that kind of stuff deals. And we did not want it to be that. We wanted it to be the opposite of that. So anyways, we started our team, and we have applications, and I interview every single person who wants to join, and people join up, and we have a awesome community all across the United States and Canada. And I've been running that for about 4 years now, with the focus being community, right? So we transitioned from focusing on the apparel to focusing on building community across these different regions of the United States.
That's super cool. So what does the average team member that signs up, one of the 480, not the core group that like runs admin and things like you and Carrie and Luke, what does the average team member do once they're on the team?
So we added, it's a subscription. So we actually, it costs $25 a month. So we decided cost of a case of beer per month, and we added a cost to it. So people have skin in the game. And we learned that lesson early on. A lot of people would join and then not participate in anything. And people have skin in the game and, want to participate and want to be an active member of the community.
And so it's like a community, like training and like fitness and like doing the workouts or doing like, that's the kind of the subscription gets you access to do this stuff together, train,
Yeah, so early on when we first opened it up, we had 30 to 50 members, and I could run it all. And so part of the value proposition that we give our team members is I find people, experts in their field, to come on once a month and do a seminar for the team.
Okay.
And so, we've had some unbelievable people come on and talk to the team, John Barklow and the elk bros, to do like
Yeah.
elk calling seminar, or like John Barklow did this is how
Knowledge
to
from
pack for
stories.
Western hunt, right?
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
experts in their fields. Um, and then uh, once the team kept growing, we have a book club once a month. We have all sorts of
Gotcha.
things people can elect to be a part of. Um, and then once the team kept growing, it became too big for me to manage. Like, how am I gonna, somebody's in Seattle, right? Like, okay, so we need to break it into regions, and so now I have region leaders under
Gotcha.
me whose their only job is to have in-person community building get-togethers, right? Whether that's, hey, team workouts, hey, we're going to go do a tough mudder, hey, we're going to go shed hunting, hey, we're going to go scout this public land, hey, we're going to go
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? That's their job, is to get people in person,
Gotcha.
to hang out and have fellowship.
So it's kind of like a mastermind group for like lifestyle performance,
Yeah,
lifestyle growth, hunting growth, fitness growth.
exactly. Yeah, because we not everybody's a hunter on the team
Yeah.
at all. We actually get a lot of people who joined back during COVID who wanted to get into hunting, we saw a huge expressed interest in people wanting to take more ownership of where their food comes from.
Gotcha.
And that was like so awesome and super rewarding for me, like on a personal level, just to be like, yes, you, like a single mom from New Jersey with two kids, 100%. I want to get you set up with my guy Bobby, who's also in New Jersey, who is an avid deer and pheasant hunter,
Yeah.
and have him take you out and teach you how to hunt. Like, done. That's what we can do for you. Like, that's,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's super cool. That's
Yeah,
super
man.
cool.
Yeah, it's been really super rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm glad I asked because I was like, I think you commented on one of my posts about public land defense.
Yeah.
And that's how we got connected. I'm like, oh, he's got a podcast, Hunt, Lift, Eat podcast. And
Yep.
Man, summer's been crazy since then because we've been rebranding and I haven't had time to dive into too many things at
Yeah.
all in detail. So I'm glad I asked for
Yeah,
sure.
man.
So, no, that's super cool. Super cool. So getting back to the first antelope hunt, you said you tagged out
Right.
first day.
Yep.
Like, tell me, like, walk me through, like, okay, I'm guessing you're like, every step of the way to this point, you're like second guessing whether or not you're making the right decision.
100%.
Like,
And
did I bring enough gear? And you show up, and
right.
like, oh, did I get the right car? And then it's like, oh man, is this the like? If you're going from Georgia to
Yeah.
Wyoming BLM, you're like, is this even the right spot? Like, there's
Right.
nothing here. And you
Right.
probably saw a bunch of critters on the highway on the way
Mhm.
from Denver to Gillette, which is
Yeah.
also really well. No, you flew to Gillette, but outside Gillette, there's a couple hayfields loaded with
Right.
antelope.
Yep.
Right, but then you get to BLM and you're like, there's not like literally
Yeah.
nothing. Like the
Yeah.
definition of BLM is literally nothing
Yep.
in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Some BLM's got forest, but Wyoming is just so arid and dry. So you're
Yep.
probably like, I don't know, like where do we camp? I don't know if this is the right spot. And then all of a sudden, day one, you're like on a goat and you
Yeah.
shoot a pronghorn. Like, walk us through that hunt and like the kind. I'm guessing there's a major turnaround on this whole like, what are we doing? Like, we're just a couple kids from Georgia. We have no business being here. Like, this isn't going to work. And then all of a sudden, it does.
100%. And I'm the I'm the anxious non-resident hunter for sure. I just whenever I get there and I'm on the hunt, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not going to come together. Like, especially if I take, now I like love taking other people on their first Western hunts. Now
Okay.
that I've got a bunch under my belt, I get anxious for them. I'm like, I want them to have the same experience I did, and like I want them to tag out, because now, like, I love it when other people tag out more than myself. And um, yeah, I just remember bopping around with Spencer, being like, "Hey, there's antelope everywhere. Nowhere we can hunt them." Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's so frustrating, right? And eventually, Jake, he was out there with his clients. Um, Jake Hacker, my mentor, he was out there with his clients and was like, "Hey, I would go if I was like two crazy kids in their 20s, like I would go check out this spot. It's going to be hell to get to, but you guys look desperate enough, crazy enough, like fit enough to go do it." And I was like, "Yes, that's exactly what I want." And yeah, went to this spot, and it was a hellacious hike in, and had to cross. Had to like strip down and cross a river, a very cold snowmelt river, carry all our gear across, like cold, 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 silly cold, and get across, trying to dry off, and then look up and like I see a buck and a doe not that far from us on public. And I was like, no way, this is crazy. And then like the hunt was on, and didn't know anything. Like we had already been blown, I don't know, 10 stalks on antelope that we tried already. We were just I'm used to hunting Appalachian mountains, right? I've never shot farther than 100 yards
Yeah.
maybe, right? And out there you can see forever, and there's no trees or nothing. So we were just fumbling through these stalks, and anyways, started getting smart and using the terrain to our advantage and getting down low in some of these gullies, and looped around them, got up high, and had enough time to range, and had him at 246, which at the time I felt like was a half a mile away. And my skills have grown and adapted since then, but
Yeah.
that sure was crazy. And yeah, got set up on my pack and let her rip and stoned him right there. Which, you know, when you shoot an animal and it drops right away, like that's a great feeling for sure. And yeah, stoned him, walked up on him, put my hands on him, and yeah, I was hooked. I was like, I'm going to do this every year for the rest of my life, no matter what it takes.
Yeah. That is so cool. And so then you had to quarter them, or did you
Yep.
know how to quarter antelope, or did you not? Or
No, I'd never had to quarter an animal before because
okay,
I'm used to hunting
deer.
small
Yeah.
parcels of small parcels of public and private here in Appalachia, where you can just gut them and drag them. And yeah, so I gutted them and then drug them, which was a huge mistake. Filled them full of cactus and all sorts of disasters. Carried them across the river and threw them in the Kia. Got him back to camp, and
So you had a
Jake was
hairless
like,
antelope when you got back to
"Yeah,
camp?
I did." He was skint on one side for sure, about this much, just like skint off. Hair was gone,
Yeah.
and Jake was like, "Hey, buddy, let me show you how to do this." And again, super blessed to have a mentor in this space, which I highly recommend to anybody thinking about getting into it. There's a lot you can figure out by yourself, and
Yeah.
again, I was new to hunting still. Um, and I've been the guy trying to pull up YouTube, trying to field dress a deer after you shoot it before. Um, a mentor will help shorten that learning curve for
Yeah.
sure.
I just taught someone how to quarter a deer last year. I showed
Mm.
them like on that one half, I said, okay, I'm gonna do this half, and the other half is the exact same. Everything is the exact same. And so I was like, hey, do this, and then this. I do like this little trick here is gonna help this,
Yep.
and he did the second. He's like, dude, that was so easy. Like I'm never dragging a deer again. And I'm like,
Yeah.
right? I tell you,
Yep.
like,
So, sometimes it just takes the confidence of
yeah.
watching somebody who knows what they're doing first, and then
Well, most people that are new to hunting, and I think late onset hunters definitely it's a stereotype, but it's not a bad stereotype. It's actually a really good stereotype. I think late onset hunters have much more regard on average for the animal their first animal they take than like me. I grew up in a family that hunted, and I grew up killing things all the time.
yeah,
Squirrels, blackbird. I mean, I was killing anything that moved in our backyard with a pellet gun.
yeah,
Shot a goose with a slingshot, shot a goose with my bow, shot a goose with a pellet. Like my
right,
dad's like, I gotta go. My son just shot a goose.
right,
um, and so my first deer, it's like, yeah, it's a big deal, but it's like, I've seen this. Like my dad's gonna
right.
gut it, my brother's
You've
gonna
been
hang it
around it.
up, and
Yeah,
we're gonna quarter it. And then on the second Sunday at deer camp, we always butcher all the deer. when you're late onset and you're late onset probably because you don't grow up in a family that hunted.
Correct.
That's most. And she's like, I don't know what to do. I just killed this animal. The last thing I want to do is waste it or mistreat it or you lose it and you're just like, what do I do? I don't want to screw this up. And because it's the weight of it. And so I think that's where a lot of people are like really hungry for information especially late onset hunters, because they have that, like I said, that higher regard. They didn't grow up killing squirrels every day. Where it's just like, oh, it's normal to shoot stuff.
Yeah, that was me 100%. And admittedly, I left the hide on that antelope way too long because I didn't know any better. And that antelope tasted not great. Ate the whole thing, ate every single piece of it. But my wife, after the first meal I cooked, was like, "This one's all you, buddy."
This one's yours.
And yep. Now all the antelope I've taken since have been delicious and fantastic, which is great. But you learn, you live and you learn, man.
So, all right. So you get your antelope, perfect stock. So second day, your buddy tags out. It was like, hey, we're going right back to that spot.
Second day, we check out that spot. Nothing there. Super small piece of BLM. Either there or they're not there. And then after checking the other two spots that we had access, there was not a lot of public in this unit. There was not a lot of access. It's pretty terrible, which is why nobody applies to it. But there was not a lot of pressure either, which was cool.
Yeah.
And we drove down to the last piece of accessible public. It was a pretty big chunk comparatively. It was just a pretty good drive at the other end of the unit.
Yeah.
Drive in and just kind of bahan around in the Kia. See a big herd of antelope. 15 of them or so, and just a freaking thumper of a buck out there with all these does. And I didn't know anything about size or whatever. I think my first antelope.
That's a
I
good
think
antelope.
It's upstairs. I think my first one's upstairs. That one's a good one.
Oh yeah.
My first one did not have cutters like that or prongs like that.
Okay.
But when I saw Spencer's, I was like, "Whoa!" I don't know anything about sizing antelope, but that's a big one.
That's a prairie donkey.
Yeah. So we just kept driving till they couldn't see us because your Qdoba guy was right. They don't like it when the vehicles stop. And we got out and we hopped out in this ditch and we belly crawled for about 600 yards in this water ditch through all the cactus and popped up over the ridge, and he dropped him at like 150 yards. And it was there was a check station that the Game and Fish had, which I'm glad we were, cross our T's, dot our I's with their licenses and putting them on right away and all that stuff. Got stopped, and then they were like, "Whoa, that's a big buck for this area." And we were like, "Yeah, cool. Like, it was awesome. It was sweet." And the biologist there took measurements, and it's the biggest buck that's been killed in that unit in the last 17 years. And Spencer's got it. Yeah, Spencer's got it on his wall. Just two idiots from Georgia bahan around in a Kia Sorento.
What did the game warden say when you pulled into the check station in a Kia Sorento with a dead monster in the back?
It was way cool. It was actually the guy running the check station. There was the guy running it, and then two biologists who work for the state there at a freaking Sinclair gas station, which I guess is a great place to catch hunters.
Yeah.
It was the whoever the number one guy in the Game and Fish is. It was the guy, the commissioner, the president, the guy. And he was there, and he was so cool. He was stoked that we were non-residents, and he was so welcoming. He's like, shook our hands and was like, "Congratulations. This is outstanding. Tell me about the hunt. Tell me about the stock and the shot. Awesome job." Gave us some coffee cups, and he was so cool, man. I shot him an email after. I forget his name. He's retired now, but he was the man. He was so cool after he checked our licenses and everything. And then
I gotta be if I put myself in one of those biologist shoes, they probably hunt. They picked it for a reason. They live in Wyoming, and they think they know, right? Like they
Yeah.
probably think like I'm a biologist. I understand these animals, what they need, what they eat, what the
Yeah.
ecology is. I've been doing this my whole life. And then you see two college kids roll up in a Kia Sorento, and they're like, "Hey, we're here to check an antelope." And they're like,
Yeah.
"You are?" And like, "Yeah, we just got one." And you're like, "You're serious?
Yeah.
You shot an antelope?" And they're like, "Yes, it's in the trunk." And they're like, "It's in the trunk?" And it's like, and then they're like, "All right, I don't know. Have you guys hunted before?" "Nope, first time." And he's like, "All right, whatever." He opens up the trunk. It's the biggest antelope he's ever
Holy
seen.
crap.
And I'm sure he left, and he's like, "I don't even know what to go like. What just happened?" These two kids
man.
from Georgia, never been antelope hunting before, bombing around in a Sorento, shoot the biggest buck the unit's ever seen, and just leave. And I'm like, you're just sitting there like, I thought I knew how to do this.
Yeah. 100%. I never thought about it from that perspective. And it's like, it's cold outside. And we've got all the windows down in the Kia because it just smells like a freaking barnyard in there, man. Just like, we probably looked so ridiculous.
Well, the first antelope was still in the Kia?
No, he was broke down in a cooler at camp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Oh my God. What a great first Western hunt story.
It was awesome. Then we were hooked, and I was like, all right, let's figure out, I need a point strategy for, all my plans. And I took the Randy Newberg approach, and now I have like a long-term, medium, and short-term hunts planned for various states, and got hooked. I was like, mule deer next. And then went on a few muley hunts and a few antelope hunts, and then a couple elk hunts now. And now, like I said earlier, is like my favorite thing is, taking people who've never been. That's my favorite thing in the world. So we're going back to Wyoming in October for a mule deer hunt, taking 3 guys who have never been before. So
I'm gonna love awesome. It when they land in Gillette on the plane, and they're like, "Carter, I don't think this looks right." And you're like, "Trust me, the Sorrento's the key to this whole thing." Like,
boys, get in the Kia.
You're gonna be that commercial, the commercial, the old Kia commercial, where I think it was what was the box Kia?
The Kia Soul.
The Kia Soul, and it's the 4 mice just bobbing in the Kia Soul. Like,
that's exactly it.
That's gonna be you guys bouncing around in this Kia Soul. 4 mule deer in the back of the thing. Pull up to that Sinclair gas station, and the same biologist could be, "You gotta be shitting me."
These boys again. Gotta trust the system, boys.
Oh, he probably went home and bought a Sorento that night.
He probably did, man. That antelope was huge. It was so huge.
I gotta imagine he's like, "Yeah, all right, you got an antelope to check in. Let's see it." Like it wouldn't give you. It was like, holy shit! Where?
Yeah, where were you?
What were you? You guys do this every year? No, first time. Where are you from? Georgia.
Couldn't be further away.
That guy was so confused.
Yeah.
He probably went home and told his wife. He's like, "I don't know how they did it."
I met these 2 yahoos at the Sinclair.
So how did you get stuck in the Sorento after so you tagged out boom boom and then you got stuck in the Sorento?
Yeah, we kept calling ourselves tourists because we were tagged out and we had like 2 or 3 days left.
Oh, because you flew, so you can't
hunting.
leave.
Yeah. So we had like 3 days to goof around. So we just ripped the Sorento all over the state. And it was awesome.
Just a cooler of antelope sitting on the side of the ditch somewhere in the middle of Wyoming while you two are off exploring.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Anybody could have rolled into camp and stolen anything.
Laughed in a podcast.
It was a little crazy, but nice people out there. Nobody was assuming we were killing antelope. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Like, no one would have assumed you killed an antelope, much less 2.
They were probably like, "Oh,
one the unit's ever seen."
Those coolers are empty for sure. Those guys are not killing.
Oh man! The funny part is I've hunted probably the same unit. I was probably there. The year after or 2. I can probably guarantee you I was in that unit.
Yeah, I'll be happy to share some waypoints with you.
Oh well, we have my brother got private access. He just hunts the
uh,
range.
that is the unit to do it in for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's the best first Western hunting story I think I've ever heard after
It was
150 Western hunting episodes of
yeah,
podcasting. That's the best.
it was awesome, man. And then
Oh.
now you try to get a little better every time, but
You can't
at
get
the
any
end of
better
the
than
day,
that. That's the best.
yeah. I
I
guess
for,
a little more dialed,
I
yeah.
forgot the whole like you have to like you're stuck there. Like you
Yeah, we
can't
were
leave.
yeah. No, we
That's
couldn't.
gotta
Yeah, we
be.
were,
Tell me about that. Was that just like by the end of the 3 day extra date, were you just like, dude, I don't want to even talk to you anymore. We're sleeping in this stupid little tent. The cactus is everywhere. We don't have a chair.
No,
Like
it was awesome.
you're just like ready to be like, oh man, I've never thought about that.
I was ready
I've always
I was
joked you
ready to
always
like
take out on the last day because then you go home,
right.
right? Like I've
Right.
never stayed a day after I've shot an antelope. I've either hunted all the way to the end and
Yeah.
didn't take out, or shot one and went home. Like I've never had that. Like, what do we do today?
Yeah.
Same thing tomorrow. We go drive around, check out some goats. We go get breakfast at McDonald's. Then we drive
Right.
around, and then we get lunch at this place. And then,
The pressure was off, which was cool.
yeah,
And then we just like we drove up into the Bighorns, right? And like just
I know
got
exactly.
to
Yeah,
got to experience that, and that was awesome, right? Because like I grew up watching Jeremiah Johnson every Saturday with my granddad, and like that's all I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I was like I was gonna be a mountain man, so I got to go. We got to go live out that dream for
you
a day
didn't.
and a half.
Did you ever think to check if they had any antlerless tags available?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't that dialed in to the system yet,
Okay,
um,
yeah, that
and
was
so
the
I,
heydays. Like
yeah.
10, 20.
Now they don't,
Yeah, no, they
right?
don't. I mean, you can apply
Yeah.
for an antlerless tag, but they don't have it. Like, you can't just go pick one up for spare.
We
Yeah,
did practice a lot of stalks after that. We did practice on every group of antelope that we found, just like without rifles, even in just wherever we were driving around, which was
okay,
really helpful just to
yeah.
understand the species as a whole. And then I saw so many thumper muleys. I was like, I'm never coming back here without a mule deer tag in my pocket. It's
Yeah,
like, this is ridiculous.
that's awesome. So, flew to, landed in Gillette, go to Walmart. You bought a cooler, got some ice,
Mhm.
and then did you check the cooler as you're on the way home to get the meat home?
Yeah, we checked the cooler, and we've done it a lot of different ways. Checking the cooler is great. We've other mule deer hunt. We tagged out early, and so we were flying out of Denver. So drove down from Wyoming, got a hotel for the night, which was great. Got a shower, and which was great, and then had a freezer in the hotel room, so we could get a hard freeze on that meat, which is the key when you're flying.
You had a freezer big enough to put a mule deer in a hotel room?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
In a hotel?
And
Was this a hotel or like a hunting motel?
that was it was a hotel near the airport, like a real hotel. It had like a apartment kitchenette thing. It was weird, but got a hard freeze on the meat, and so you can take that in a carry on. So we've done soft sided coolers as carry ons.
A whole mule deer?
Mm-hmm. In Ozark soft sided coolers. Yeah,
You had to debone
that
everything,
that one.
right?
Yeah, I demoned everything in camp.
It's still like 50 pounds.
Yeah, it was obscene. It was two. It was two of the big like soft sided coolers, and you have to run them through TSA at security. And I got freaking Mr. Captain America TSA agent, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" I was like, "It's frozen meat, sir." And he's like, "We got to take it out." I was like, please don't open it. Like, I just want it to stay frozen, please." It was a bit of a fiasco, but you are legally allowed to fly as long as it's frozen.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just like, somebody next to you's got like a, backpack and their AirPods and their
Yeah.
iPad, and you're like stuffing this mule deer under the seat in front of you.
100%. Half of them went under the seat in front of me, and the other half went in the overhead bin.
Oh, no, else any clue. Oh my gosh, your hunting adventures, man, are so different than ours.
You just got to do what you got to do, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, we bring chest freezers with us. Like we put them in the trailer.
That's sweet.
And a generator, and then we just run a chest freezer. Yeah.
Yeah, but those are logistics you got to think about when you're going on destination hunts,
man,
you know?
I didn't think about that. The whole being stranded and okay, well, great, we tagged out. Now what do we imagine if you planned an elk hunt, you went on a 7-day elk hunt, you take out on day 1 and you're like.
So that's what I did this past fall. I went on my first archery elk hunt, tagged out day 1, first hour. And dude, I don't know. Hunting's weird.
Best luck in the world. Or you're just the secret you just have the way to hunt that everyone thinks they know how to hunt, and then you just show up and you're like, I don't know, it seems to work for me. I just do it this way. And he's like, right there, just go shoot.
Dude, sometimes you just gotta wing it, you know?
So were you by yourself or were you with a group of HLE guys?
Yeah, I was with 3 other HLE guys. Okay. Which was super helpful.
So not everyone tagged out.
No, just me.
That's
on
different.
Day 1.
Because then you're still hunting, you're still helping, you're calling.
Yeah. It was just the right place, right time, right opportunity, and they responded to the calls, and it just happened super fast, you know?
That's awesome. Good for you.
But, you know, on that trip, I was like, I'm not going to fool with trying to keep an animal this big, this cold in a cooler and changing ice and water. We were in a pretty remote spot too. It wouldn't have been convenient, so I took it to a processor.
Elk is 180 pounds minimum.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, when I put my hands on him, I was like, "This is a huge animal. This is crazy." So I took him to a processor, and they shipped it.
Yeah, you're not stuffing elk meat.
No.
Yeah.
Too many carry-ons.
It all has to fit in the seat in front of you. Cannot be in the aisle.
You're going to have to buy an extra seat, sir.
Trying to pawn off elk meat to the...
Yeah.
Hey, can you put this under your seat? Dude.
What is this?
You pull up to the same guy at the Kia Sorento. Now he works in Colorado. He's like, I gotta get out of that unit. That unit
he's at the Denver Enterprise.
Kia Sorento next time. He's like, this dude's everywhere.
Who keeps giving this guy tags?
Yeah, what is this guy? This guy's insane. Pretty soon he doesn't check you anymore. He's just like, hey, can I come on?
Yeah. Hey, I'd be happy to take anybody anytime.
That's awesome. Well, man, we're coming up over an hour already. I can't believe it. Dude, your hunting stories are insane. We're going to have to do another podcast, especially after you get done with this year's hunt. Because we're doing a mule deer hunt as well in Colorado.
Nice.
So I'm excited for that. We will not be flying. We will not be driving a Kia Sorento.
Don't knock it.
Yeah. I've driven one before. Though, you should try next. Oh, man. I had the worst rental car the other day for work. What was it? It was Versa. What's the?
Oh, a Nissan Versa.
Yes.
I know all the shitty cars.
I get there and they're like, we don't have your car. And I'm like, okay, well, I
need a vehicle.
I need a vehicle. I work for a Fortune 100 company, ma'am. I have to go. They want me there. I'm there.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, is a Nissan Versa okay? And I'm like, sounds like a car to me. Let's rock and roll. I did not understand. Dude, my lawnmower has bigger tires than a Nissan Versa. I was coming down the interstate, and this thing just whee! And I'm like, these little tires have to be going a bajillion miles an hour because they're so small.
Yeah.
I did not have fun. I got into a windstorm in Iowa, and I couldn't even keep the stupid thing in the right lane. I'm just like, how is a car this small, this unstable?
That's hilarious.
Oh, man. I could just see bopping around in a Nissan Versa, just like that commercial for the Kia Soldiers 4 mice.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, dude, we got to connect after your fall. I got to get the updates on these hunts. We only covered one. It's crazy. We're going to have to do this more often. This is
Let's do it.
I've laughed hosting a podcast in a long time.
I'd love to, man. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. The
And
next
good
time you're
luck
out
this
this way,
fall.
let me know. We'll have to meet up if we can. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. It'd be great to share camp together sometime.
Yeah. Awesome. So before we break, give the listeners a chance to follow you, check out HLE, where they can learn more about you, more about the Hunt Lift Eat team, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Hunt Lift Eat official on Instagram, and then sure would appreciate if you guys check out the Hunt Lift Eat podcast, also on Instagram. Come check it out if you feel so inclined. You know, drop a follow, subscribe, leave us a little review. Appreciate any feedback. Shoot us a message. Try to get back to everybody in a timely manner. Yeah, would really appreciate any support there.
Yeah, and go check out. I was just on the episode, so if you're looking for a familiar face or a familiar voice,
Yep.
you can start with that one on the Hunt Lift Eat podcast, and we'll go from there. And then if you want to follow Carter, want to follow your page directly, the Homestead_GA.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Awesome. Cool. Well,
Yeah, dude.
thanks for being here, Carter, and thank you for listening.